let's get you started in UGC. How you can be replacing your income with UGC. So excited, we're all here excited because you're about to enter your new chapter of UGC taking over and not only being able to bring in another source of income, maybe even replacing your full-time job. So my name is Maya. I am the founder of Creative Evolution, a creative agency that covers all things digital. And my experience, I have done content creation and social media management for over 5 years now. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. There are 5 steps into how you can be making UGC a big part of your income. Number 1, building a portfolio, which I mentioned in my other video, making sure that this portfolio is optimized as much as possible. 2, picking a niche or industry that you're focusing on to sell to. Now, I think there should be flexibility here, but it's important to pick that niche. 3, learn how to price yourself and package up your offer. 4, outreach, how to pitch to brands and get replies. And then 5, last but not least, how to get those brands not only coming back, but also good communication and get the results that you want, you and the brand want. Okay, so let's dive in. Number 1, having a good, strong portfolio is so important. I've mentioned this before, but it is something that I'm gonna drone on about. There's a reason why I offer in my Creator Evolution Collective Resource Hub a portfolio template, because it's so easy to think that not adding certain things will help you, but actually you want to stand out when you're sending your portfolio to brands, whether that's through platform, different UGC platforms, or when you're outreaching directly, or even adding it to your socials as something to look at. It's important to make that as strong as possible. Your portfolio should cover who you are, what you do in terms of what your niche is, something fun about you that makes you stand out, and then also samples of your work, as well as obviously contact details, results that you've had, and potential testimonials. Now that sounds like a lot, especially when you're starting out, but testimonials can come in time. Results, you can show examples of, say, sample UGC that you've created and you've posted and the results of that. Or you can utilize this space to showcase who your audience is and who they would be reaching, how that would benefit the brand. Again, you wouldn't necessarily be posting on your profile, but it just means that they understand the audience that is already resonating with your content. Picking a niche. This one, I feel like, again, has to have some flexibility, but there's certain elements that can be a niche, whether it's you only talk about female products and speak to a female audience, or whether it's you only do beauty brands and actually you're fully in love with the beauty industry and so they're the businesses that you work with, or you only do unboxing videos, whether it's beauty, fashion, health and wellness, like you only do unboxing. There has to be something that makes you stand out as being specific for certain brands. This will also help you narrow down if something aligns with your values, your brand, because you are your own personal brand. That will then narrow it down if and when brands start approaching you as well. 3, learning how to price yourself and package your offer. This is really important. So many people, and myself included in the past, have undervalued what they are offering and the price that should be set at. There needs to be some understanding here that UGC content is replacing traditional ad spend. Now, how much businesses spend on traditional ad spend is crazy. Not all businesses, but a lot. So that UGC content is substituting for a part of that. I'm not going to say it's all of it because that's not the case, but it means there's money there. There's money on the table. There's room for negotiation in a lot of cases. Again, not going to say all, not all brands have the budget to do UGC, but I don't want that to be a limiting mindset that you're setting for yourself and not reaching the potential that you could be. So make sure you're pricing yourself to a high value. Make sure you're including and working it out based on, not just based on time, but even basic level that you're starting out with time, that you're thinking about how long it takes you to plan and script, how long it takes you to create a brief or discuss the brief with the brand, the time it creates to actually produce the content, if that's 2-3 hours, to edit the content, to receive feedback, to produce the next content, and then also the deadline that is set for that, as well as the finished product. There's a lot of time that goes into these pieces, and because it's you filming on your phone, or you feel like you're doing it at home, or you haven't got a following, whatever you're limiting yourself to does not mean that you value yourself less, because you are worth more. Make sure you know that you're pricing yourself to a high value. This also counts for negotiations. If a brand approaches you and says, can you do 3 reels for £100, whether it's dollars or pounds, but £100, you can go back and say, I'm very interested in working with you. Here's my media kit, whether you've got pricing on there with your portfolio, or negotiating, I tend to price this much for reels that include a get ready with me, or however you want to word it, but make sure you are negotiating because it is important. You don't have to settle because they've approached you, and it can be exciting when brands approach you, but make sure you're still pricing yourself how you would if it had been the other way around and you had reached out to them, because they are clearly interested in working with you to start with. So you might as well negotiate for what you and your standards are. If that is £100, that's £100. I'm not here to judge, but I just want to encourage you to make sure that you're being your biggest cheerleader and pricing accordingly. Outreach. Now, outreach you can do in multiple ways: LinkedIn, DMs, email, and I encourage doing all of it. Try and test all of it, because DMs might be managed by a social media manager, which is what I've done before. And sometimes it's not reaching the right person. It might not get passed along to the right person to then be pitched to create content. Speaking to marketing managers, or even sometimes they have influencer marketing within the company and you speak to that manager, but making sure whether you do that on LinkedIn as well. Searching in, especially in big companies, there's usually influence marketing within that. And yes, you aren't in it, like, I get you're not an influencer, but it's more likely to fall under that and be directed to the right person. Same with speaking to PR as well, is usually the way to get through, whether that's a gifting opportunity or working in collaboration, because they'll be in charge of the send outs. They'll usually have a budget for a certain amount of send outs. They're more likely to put you in contact to the right person by approaching those people first. Those email addresses, those people that you find on LinkedIn, highly recommend LinkedIn. You're speaking to someone personally, it's a bit more casual. Yes, DM on Instagram, but don't let that be the end point if they don't reply, because again, it might not be going to the right person. Email might get lost. Just hit all 3 points. Just do it. And then getting those replies, making sure that it's really succinct in that first email. This is why I've included in my resource hub the email templates, because you want to include everything in that email that is what they need. You don't want it to be like, hey, I'd love to work with you. In DMs that might work, but also you want it to be, hey, I'd love to work with you. A compliment, examples of your work, examples of results, and a link to your portfolio, but they might not click the link to the portfolio. So you need to make sure in that email that you've got enough there that is piquing their attention, that they're not just clicking through. It's another email that's been sent by another creator or another person that actually it just looks fluffy. We don't want the fluff. We want to make sure that we're getting straight to the point. Love the brand, want to work with you. Here's what I can offer. Let's have a conversation. Just to get that reply, that initial reply, that conversation started, and get the ball rolling. And then to keep clients coming back with great communication and results is making sure that if you are posting on your account, that you are posting at optimum times. So looking at your analytics on your socials of best times to post, being able to share to a community. Again, I'm building my community. I don't want this to all be a promo, but this is the reason why I'm building it. Being able to share to a community, so then you're getting that engagement on the post that you need to be able to get more brand deals. That's part and parcel of it. Other creators, UGC creators, being able to share that content, being able to find inspiration from each other, being able to share contacts of brands that they've worked with before, but being able to get that sort of retainer client or returning client at the very least is making sure you're providing that content to a high value, that you've communicated in your tone of voice so then it comes across positive, that you've shared results with them as well if you have posted it on your account. This did really well. My audience loved it. They're more likely to be like, yeah, let's get her in again. And you can also utilize those results to bag yourself brand deals down the line. All in all, there's a lot there that you can do to be able to start this UGC chapter. Common mistakes that I've seen is waiting for brands to come to you. There's too many people out there. It's difficult. It's difficult to find UGC creators. It's difficult to not get lost in the sea. Also, anything that you wait for in life, go out, use some initiative, go grab it, grab what you want, follow the dreams, but you need to chase it. Like, you need to go after it. for it to come into fruition. And I think that's one big thing that I've seen, that people assume if they're building their accounts on TikTok and they're posting UGC examples, that they're expecting brands to just suddenly start DMing. It's not how it works. It's better to approach and go, hey, I'm here. And then that way, if they do discover you down the line, say they're like, actually, we're not looking for any collaborations at this time. Yeah, no worries. When they see your content again, Maya, I saw her content before. You know, she reached out before and she's so positive. And she said she loved the brand. So let's reach out again. You want to start that. You want to plant that seed. And planting that seed is introducing yourself, popping in front of someone and going, hey, I'm here. This is what I do. This is how I do it. These are the results that I've had before. These are the testimonials from other brands that I've worked with. And I would love to work with you. Would you be open to having a conversation? Done. Come on. So don't wait. Don't wait for brands to come to you. Secondly is undervaluing your work, which I've mentioned so many times. It's just one of those things that we do in the creative world, especially as Brits. I think we put ourselves down. But in general, around the world, it's common that you put yourself down and you undervalue what you're getting, whether that's accepting a gifting deal that should have been paid, or it's providing a ton of content for like a tenner and not understanding that if you've spent a day doing that, would you accept £10 for a whole day of work? No, you wouldn't. Let's start valuing ourselves and putting a price to that value too. And then thirdly, this one is also a social media one that I've seen, is not tailoring your content to the platform. So for example, if you're creating for a brand a TikTok video compared to an Instagram reel, yes, you can cross post, but it's slightly different. What you would put on TikTok is slightly different to what you put on Instagram. If you don't fully understand this, have a scroll through both platforms. It's different. Who you're speaking to in that audience, TikTok's so fast paced. It's 6 seconds. If you have a 30-second video, in those 3 initial seconds, that hook has got to be in there or something that's enticing you. Instagram, a little bit more leniency, that a lot of it is more polished as well compared to TikTok. TikTok is very behind the scenes. I've got no makeup on and I look a bit scraggly today, but I could post a TikTok today. Whereas Instagram, I might not post today. Looking like this. It makes all the difference and can provide you with better results if you're tailoring to the platform. Plus, it gives you an opportunity to upsell if you then want to say, I've adapted this video to TikTok, but I would love to create something for Instagram that is suitable for those sort of ads, which is suitable for Instagram and Facebook, YouTube Shorts, whatever it looks like, you can use it to upsell, and also shows your knowledge of each of the platforms and what you're offering, which to the brand adds more value. Once you've got a decent amount of portfolio, whether that's you working with smaller budgets, bigger budgets, who cares, being able to shoot enough at home to be able to showcase your work and your skill set. You don't need loads of gear, by the way. You can use your phone, make sure you're using the right settings on your phone, but use your phone, show your personality, that's what you're selling. If you want to do it faceless, find other ways to show some sort of style that is making you unique. And then finally, making sure that you're doing the outreach. Reach out to lots of different brands. As you're building a big enough portfolio, you can say, I've been trusted by, on your portfolio, you can say, trusted by Creed. Oh my gosh, I would love to be trusted by Creed. Apple, I've been trusted by Free Soul. I haven't, by the way, just for closure, I haven't worked with them yet. It's an example of you being able to say, other brands have trusted me, so this is why you should too. I should have used brands that I've actually worked with. That would have been better. Inky List I've worked with. I've worked with Kindred Fires, Eco Bird Food, and some others. I'm not about to list them all. So my SD card died, but we've come to the end of the video anyway. I just wanted to share that I have created Creator Evolution Collective. It's a space that provides a community of UGC creators, a resource hub which has quite a lot of, if I do say so myself, quite a lot of resources in there, including templates for email pitches, tips for pricing and negotiation, a template for portfolio, template for sending emails and DMs and contract negotiations, as well as tips and tricks for providing high quality content, all from someone who runs their own creative agency too. These packages also include signing up to platforms, certain platforms that you should sign up to, and a community where you can ask questions to fellow creators, as well as getting engagement for your content, etc. So there's a lot in there, all for the price. The lowest package is the price of a coffee a day, £3 a day only. So make sure you check it out. I will link below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe, because I'll be sharing more about UGC and content creation, as well as I already share about social media management, running your own business, as well as my life, like about me. So please make sure you subscribe and share this video with someone that you think should start their UGC journey, because anyone can and anyone should. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you in the next video.